My name is Bouma-Sims, and I'm a fourth-year PhD student at Carnegie Mellon. And today I'll be presenting our paper, It Was Honestly Just Gambling, investigating the experience of teenage cryptocurrency users on Reddit. So to get started, cryptocurrency is very popular among young investors. For example, a 2022 CFA Institute and FINRA survey found that 55% of investors aged 18 to 25 held crypto assets. And more interestingly for me, 25% of all investors in this age group began investing before the age of 18. This raises some important safety concerns about minors using cryptocurrency. First, prior work has shown that crypto assets are difficult to manage securely. They're based on public-private key cryptography, which, while most people in this room probably understand, is not necessarily intuitive to the average user. Secondly, transactions are typically irreversible, so there's no third-party intermediary who you can ask to reverse a transaction. So this lends crypto assets vulnerable to loss due to user error, social engineering, or hacking. Second, concerning access, most exchanges do not allow minors to register. So this is, for example, the Coinbase user agreement, which states that you must be 18 years of age or older in order to register. And there's similar rules at other sort of large cryptocurrency exchanges. So this raises a question, if they're not using these exchanges in their own names, how are they getting access to crypto assets? Are they using unregulated exchanges in other countries? This is a concern that has been raised by prior work. Finally, crypto assets can be very volatile. So for example, this is the price chart of Bitcoin, which is the most popular crypto asset. And while it's more recently reached a new all-time high in 2022, it had an all-time high of 65,000 before dropping to a 3-year low of 15,000 just a year later. And so while you can lose money in many types of investments, cryptocurrency is, as an asset class, very volatile and perhaps more risky than most stocks. So despite these risks, not much is known about the experience of underage cryptocurrency users. So we wanted to investigate this area, and particularly we asked the following research questions. First, how do teenage users gain access to the crypto asset ecosystem? As I said, they can't necessarily use conventional exchanges. Second, what motivates teenagers to engage with crypto? And then finally, what types of harm do teenagers experience using crypto assets? And I think this is, for me, the most interesting part, and I think for many people in this room also. To answer our research questions, we analyzed posts on Reddit. Reddit's a very popular place for discussing cryptocurrency, and it also has many communities that are focused on sort of minors. So we looked at communities used primarily by teenagers. Most notably, the largest community is r/teenagers, but we also looked at some academic-focused communities like r/applying to college. We selected posts that contained crypto-related keywords. So for example, NFT or cryptocurrency. The full list of keywords is in the paper. Through this method, we identified 6,408 posts with keywords, and we sampled a third of these for further qualitative analysis. Discussion was analyzed using inductive coding. 2 authors reviewed all posts and comments. In the sample, we sort of did multiple rounds of reviews, first assigning initial code and then delving deeper into our research questions. We found that 84% of the posts we sampled contained content about cryptocurrency. Most of these posts were from r/teenagers. This is in line with expectations because this is the largest community we looked at. It's important to note that many of the posts lacked information about real behavior. So for example, 18.3% of posts were some sort of joke or meme or obvious sarcasm. And then another 18.2% were some sort of spam promoting particular projects. Often these were identical or near identical posts, suggesting they were either automated or coming from a similar source. Finally, before I get into the answers to our research questions, the peak of the discussion was in 2021, 2022. So this was, our data was from the beginning of Reddit in like 2005 to the end of 2022. And so the peak was towards the end. We sort of associated this with the release of a Reddit NFT, which was given to many users for free. And this resulted in a lot of discussion about the project. So now I'll get into our research questions, and I would encourage you to look to the paper. Because this is a qualitative study, I only have time to discuss some of the results, but there's a lot more to look at. So first, how do teenagers gain access to the crypto asset ecosystem? We found that users primarily discussed purchasing assets via their parents' accounts. This was often in the context of users asking how they could buy cryptocurrency. So for example, this user wrote, "I want to buy one of those funny-looking monkey pictures, but I'm clueless on how it works." A user replied, "I trade crypto under my mom's name, but to my knowledge, you have to be 18, at least where I live." And there was a lot of similar content like this where users asked about trading cryptocurrency, and others replied that they had an account with their parents' name. Teens also obtained cryptocurrency in other ways. So mining cryptocurrency was commonly discussed. Some users created their own crypto projects. This was especially discussed in the context of college admissions. So users would be like, "I created a crypto project. Should I put this on my college application?" Some users also received gifts from others on Reddit. So for example, there used to be a tip bot on Reddit where you could send small amounts of cryptocurrency to other people. And of course, the platform also gave away free NFTs to people. As I noted earlier, one concern is that users may be sort of accessing under-regulated exchanges. We only found a single instance of a miner discussing use of an unregulated exchange. So this quote, "LOL, I'm a miner and I bought Bitcoin using a non-KYC site and a VPN." KYC means know your customer regulation, so that's referring to the need to sort of identify yourself when interacting with financial institutions. So the implication is that they lied about their identity in order to register for an international exchange. It may be that users don't want to talk about this because it's obviously, not, at least violates the terms of service of these places, but it doesn't seem like it's extremely common. Moving to our second research question, what motivates teens to engage with crypto assets? We found, as you may expect, posts emphasize the sense of sort of outsized profits. So for example, this user wrote, this 14-year-old user wrote, "My parents are giving me $100 to invest in whatever I want. I think a good crypto to buy is Bitcoin. I've been tracking it. By 2030, my investment of $100 will grow tenfold if I buy now." So there's sort of a sense of like, if you don't have a lot of money, the idea that you may be able to 10 times your money is very attractive. Interestingly, users also discuss crypto as sort of a form of obsessive entertainment, and we sort of analogize this to gambling. So this user wrote, "I invested like $100 into crypto, and I can't stop looking at the charts and stuff." Another user replied, "It's too volatile in my opinion," and the original user said, "That's what makes it fun." And we saw a lot of people in this sort of thread replying with similar sort of feelings that they had invested and they can't stop looking at the charts because it's just sort of fascinating. The comparison to gambling isn't just something we're making. Users also explicitly connected crypto to gambling. So for example, an 18-year-old user wrote, "You see, risks equals profits. Cryptos are like gambling right now. Also, it's the best way to pay and receive money without paying extra because of tax. Anyways, if it gets me money, I'm going to do it." So moving to our final research question. What types of harm do teens experience when using crypto assets? We noted a sort of small number of examples where users discussed loss. There was some discussion of being unable to recover private keys. This was usually like small amounts of cryptocurrency. Keys or other technical aspects of crypto were not that often discussed. Profit from investment was more often discussed than loss, but we did note some examples that were fairly extreme. One user shared an image showing their portfolio dropping from $18,000 in value to about $100 in July 2022. And there were a few other examples of like $1,000 notional losses. It's difficult to determine whether these were realized losses and how much actual loss that represented. Some users also described losing money in illegal schemes such as pump and dumps. Finally, we also observed some users discussing attempted extortion facilitated by cryptocurrency. So for example, a 14-year-old user wrote, "I just got an email. It said if I did not pay this certain address $2,000 in Bitcoin, it would send 3 random people in my contact an explicit video of me." So this person was very concerned and went to our teenagers to ask, but got advice that, LOL, it's a scam. Everyone and their mother has gotten that email. Maybe a little harsh, but it's the good advice that they don't have to interact with this. And we didn't observe any sort of successful attempts of extortion in our data set. So in conclusion, we found that minor teen crypto users have similar experiences to their adult counterparts. This is somewhat concerning to me because learning about investing through highly speculative assets may set bad habits for life. You know, if you're viewing investing as gambling, that's perhaps not the greatest way to approach it. We think that maybe custodial accounts, explicit custodial accounts could better enable parental supervision. So sort of allowing this model of, you know, creating an account for your child, having explicit framework for that, that doesn't exist. You could argue that maybe it would normalize cryptocurrency investing more, but I think it'd probably be better to have maybe more supervision. Finally, we think that better regulation will help protect both minors and adults and, you know, promote clarity in the ecosystem. And with that, I'm open to questions.